Hello, and welcome to Los Angeles Sex Therapy Team Video Interview Series founded by Moushumi Ghose, AMFT. In this series, we introduce you to our therapists and our coaches so you can get to know them on a more personal level by seeing them, hearing their voices, and learning more about their unique approaches to this work. I'm your host, Jamie Azar, sex, relationship, and intimacy coach at Last and founder of Erotic Expressions. And today we're joined with Renee Faust, who will be sharing insights into her philosophy and the way that she supports clients. So welcome, Renee, and thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're excited to hear more about your work. So we'd love to know, just right off the bat preliminarily, what inspired you to become a sex therapist?
I would say living in America. I mean, I think it's no secret that this country has very puritanical foundations. And the way we act about sex, the way we treat sex, there's a lot of stigma that people are dealing with. And that's something I'm really passionate about helping people unpack.
Absolutely. And that support's definitely needed. I know that you particularly work closely with the sex worker community. What would you say is your unique approach to working with that population, those folks, and what would you like to share more about your work?
So I've been involved with mutual aid for some time. I also am a sex worker. So I have been working with the community, doing a lot of outreach with things, with organizations like SWAP. I worked with SWAP LA for some time and Sunday Fair. I did some work with Decrim Sex Work as well. And this feels like the logical next step of providing more one-on-one care. I think that having the experiences that I do, I feel like I can create an environment where people know that they aren't going to be pathologized for no reason, which is something that happens so frequently in therapy. When sex workers seek care, a lot of times they come face to face with the bias of their therapist, and that's unchecked bias. I like to say that I like to call it therapy school, but when you're in therapy school, there's very little time spent unpacking your own bias as a therapist, especially around sex. The majority of therapists have very limited training around sexuality beyond some very broad strokes about basic identity things. I think that having the experiences that I do, and also knowing how many of the people in my community have sought out care and had these adverse experiences, that became something that I was really passionate about providing an alternative to.
Wow. Yes, absolutely. And I hear you talking about the impact and harm caused by bias, internalized bias from practitioners, and the pathologization that sex workers might face in therapy. Are there other stigmas that you find you work particularly within the community, or certain patterns or specialties that pop up within that larger work that you do?
Well, I'm also a kink affirming and queer affirming therapist. I think that also too, the one that gets left out is I think that there's a lot of internalized stuff that sometimes clients bring into the room. You know, if you hear over and over and over again that that you're bad for being who you are, for working in the field that you do. I mean, it's so strange to me. Like in America, we consume porn, we consume adult materials. However, the attitudes that we hold for the people that provide those services, it just really seems out of step. So that's something that I've never been able to kind of reconcile rationally. It doesn't make sense. And I want to provide an affirming environment where people can explore all sides of themselves, find community, find purpose, and grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine that a lot of your clients probably also feel that affinity and safety, knowing that you've done the work and also have firsthand experience too. So yeah, thank you for sharing. Anything else you'd like to share about your unique approach to working with clients, or the way you create affirming spaces for folks?
So I will also say another way that I'm creating safety for our community is here in Wisconsin. Although I'm licensed in California, I'm currently living out of the state. And I have been working with lawmakers here. We proposed our first bill, LRB 3611, as our first attempt to change some of the harmful legislation that's currently on the books here in Wisconsin. LRB 3611 makes it so sex workers who require emergency care services or need to report an assault will not face arrest. Currently, that is the process that happens here in Wisconsin. There's a lot of work to do, and it's the first bill from a bill package we've developed together. So I think that ultimately, helping sex workers live more dignified, happier lives means not only addressing, the things that we're dealing with internally, but also addressing some of the structures that make life difficult.
Yes, absolutely. I'm curious for you, Renee, what's one misconception about sex therapy that you'd like to clear up?
Again, going back to the pathology answer, I think that a lot of times we're sort of pathologized into feeling that there's something wrong with us and that we need to go to sex therapy to fix it. And I think a lot of times the work is learning to accept ourselves, learning to unpack some of the things that we've learned over the years that maybe enforce this bias that we're holding for ourselves, things that don't make sense. And again, sometimes when we say these things out loud, it really becomes more difficult to reconcile. It's like, I'm not sure why I feel this way towards myself, but I wouldn't feel this way if this was a friend who had made these choices. So again, I think a lot of times coming to sex therapy, thinking that there's something wrong with you, we're not here to fix you. We're here to help you, sort out some of the internal struggles that are sometimes at play.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And it sounds like you do that through curiosity together and just creating that safety. And like you said, even just talking about it and hearing it said aloud sometimes gives us that perspective to kind of question the ways we've either internalized some of those harmful structures or shame or stigma, and or look at the ways in which, like you had said, the power structures in society can harm us. And it sounds like your work extends far beyond the walls of an office as well, and very much includes activism in the community as well. What's something, Renee, you would say that you absolutely love about your work?
I love my community. I love working with folks who feel understood. It always means so much to me if I have a client say, hey, in my previous experiences in therapy, this was always the stuff that I kept to myself because I was afraid that my therapist wouldn't understand. Giving people a safe place to talk about that stuff. And also too, I think that some of my community comes in and it's not specifically for sex related reasons, right? It's not about the work. Maybe they're happy in the work. Maybe they're just okay with the work. Regardless, I think that it creates a safe environment so we can tell the whole story instead of having to kind of self-edit and leave details out that are sometimes important in understanding the whole person. I think that's one of the most important things in therapy is being able to be honest with your therapist and being able to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you say, Renee, that most clients feel after a session with you, or how do they report experiencing that time with you?
I've gotten some really amazing feedback from clients. I'm not sure if I can share the exact testimonials that I've received. I don't want to give out any identifying information, but I will say when I've had clients return, I also run a support group through LAST, and I've had some past clients come back that I hadn't seen in a while and say, hey, things are going really great now, and that they appreciated our time together, and that means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm curious, you just mentioned your support group. Is there anything you'd like to share around that for
Yes.
folks?
So we meet every other Monday, and the information is listed on the LAST website, as well as socials for both my practice and for my nonprofit, CASW. So we meet every other Monday. It is completely free of charge. It is a peer-led support group, and it's a really, really wonderful group. You can attend regardless of what state you are residing in, which is really great for clients that I have that travel frequently. You can always pop in free of charge. There is a brief screener, so you'll have to message our office. And that's just to ensure that everyone that is attending actually does have experience in the industry and that we aren't letting looky-loos in. We want it to be a really safe environment, and that's really important to us.
Absolutely. Okay. And so I'm hearing folks can go to the LAST website to sign up for that and submit their screening. Amazing.
Yeah, a couple brief questions just to ensure that everyone in attendance is part of the community. And again, it is free to attend.
Beautiful. Love that. Renee, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share? You're feeling called to share about your work or hobby, passion, fun fact, something you'd like to say to folks who might be considering working with you?
I guess I'll also pitch my nonprofit. So I have a nonprofit called CASW. You can find us online at casw304.org. And that's more information on some of the stuff that we do. We support people who are in the community. We support survivors of trafficking as well. We've done a lot of work with a young woman named Crystal Kaiser, who was wrongfully incarcerated a few years ago after surviving trafficking. And yeah, if you want to learn more about some of the stuff that we're working on, please check that out. And please check out the last website if you're interested in attending our support group. And finally, I would love to work with you. I love my community, and I love to be of service. I do offer sliding scale services. I know a lot of people in our community are uninsured or underinsured. So it is something that's really important to me to make sure that care is accessible.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Renee, for being here with us today and sharing a little bit about your work. And thank you, folks, for attending another Los Angeles Sex Therapy Team video interview. We'll see you next time.
Bye.